Brian, great to have you here this morning. We got a lot to talk about today on the big picture, but I want to talk about your guys' story first off here. Earnings last week, beat EPS, beat sales. I think the big question, though, of course, is how do you keep the momentum going after a massive holiday season?
Well, great. Thanks for having me. I mean, obviously, pop culture takes care of that for us. We have a phenomenal content slate. Obviously, we're just starting with the Avengers Endgame. We have Game of Thrones going on as we speak, a Star Wars movie, a Frozen sequel coming up, Stranger Things coming back, Rick and Morty. We're just littered with amazing content that drives everything that's in our industry, and that's music and sports and video games, television, and theatrical. So pop culture takes care of all the things we need to continue to grow as a company.
Brian, my question was, after seeing so many of the dolls and the pops specifically all over in the holiday season, is even with the big sales that you guys had, is there any inventory hangover? Is there any issue of having things sitting around that didn't get bought?
No, absolutely not. I mean, as a matter of fact, our sell-through year over year is up now 22%. So, and one of the great things about our business is we continue to evolve. Our other category, that's things other than figures, is up 43% year over year, and that's our soft lines businesses, backpacks and wallets and T-shirts and homewares. All that stuff is really killing it for us as we continue to diversify our pop culture offerings.
Okay, one of the things that you talked about on your conference call that got picked up from a report this morning was about a secondary marketplace. Can you give us some insight as to what you guys have in mind?
You know, we're just exploring. There's some very interesting companies out there like Goat and StockX. And obviously eBay is the king of what's going on in the secondary market. And we're having conversations with all those guys, and we're just trying to figure out what's the best experience for our fans and how can we help them out when they're looking for something that they can't get a hold of. And I think right now everything's on the table. We're exploring all opportunities, but our goal and our primary focus is to make sure that our fans have access.
How would that work in the secondary market? Would you still keep basically the supply of past dolls intact, or would you sell things here that would harken back to a doll that's gone out of sale? How would you just leave that up to the secondary market? Is that how it would purely be for collectors of items that they can't find anymore?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's important that when we have there is a secondary market because we make sound business decisions and we don't overproduce. We're not trying to get every last dollar out of every single figure that we make. And because we make right decisions and we do monitor our sell-through on a week-to-week basis with our key retail partners, when something slows down, we stop producing. And I think that also fuels the secondary market. But those are sound business decisions. I think our goal is just to continue to make those sound business decisions. There will always be a secondary market. And our goal is just to make sure that our fans are informed on where they can get products that are what they desire, what has been retired for a couple of years, and give them a way to find those very easily.
It doesn't seem like, judging by your numbers, anybody's really tired of the pops yet, Brian, by any means. The question still is about, really on a comparative basis, how do you drive the growth engine to the degree that it experienced kind of in that period of the second half of 2018 as to where we are now? I know that you hiked the guidance at the beginning of the year, and in this past earnings, you guys kept it flat. What, in your mind, is the potential to drive that number upwards? What would surprise you that would have to, cause you to up it again?
Well, I think, we continue to expand the marketplace in ways that, we didn't imagine 4 or 5 years ago. We just implemented a new DIY program, a do-it-yourself pop for the Michaels stores, the craft stores in the United States, have a huge new section in Best Buy. Obviously, we're only a couple quarters in to our dedicated section at Walmart that is doing very, very well, which is everything pop culture. And then obviously internationally, new retailers like Primark, who's absolutely killing it right now in Europe, is doing phenomenal with our products. I think for us, finding unique revenue streams. We just bought a board game company. We have our own board game that's going to be launching this year. The demand for the product is through the roof, and we're just finding creative ways to match pop culture with items that people love.
We're looking at some of the numbers right now. When you talk about new pop culture items that people love, if it's with the existing suite of toys, then that's volume and that's scale. And I think that's obviously loved by investors who want big sales growth. In terms of changing the margin and improving that, we saw a little bit of a tick down on an annual basis. What will be the ventures that make your company more profitable going forward? Is it these new projects that you're looking at?
It is. It's a couple of things. Obviously, one, when you're growing as fast as we have been growing, we're making investments while we're still profitable, and a lot of companies can't say that. And we're investing in people and in processes and in new warehouses, and yet we're still profitable. And I think what you're going to see is on operational end, we're going to strive toward operational excellence. That's going to get a lot of those vendor chargebacks and compliance issues off of our books, and it's going to make us more profitable. I think the other thing we're looking at to do is we're developing our own IP. And every time you develop your own IP and you put it in the marketplace, you're paying 0% royalty versus the on average anywhere between 15.5% to 16.5% royalty we pay. So we are definitely doing that. We have a very good program right now with Barnes & Noble on books, plush, card games, and our figures for our own IP called Wetmore Forest. We're also developing 3 new own IP toy lines that will be launching in 2020 as well. All those will help us become a more profitable company as we march forward.
Have you thought about original content, Funko series, TVs, clips, stuff that has been obviously a way for some of the other toy makers to boost their brand and boost the business? Obviously, there's been movies, based on toys now the past 5 years.
Yeah, look, I think we might have an announcement shortly in that area, but I can't give you any details. But we're on the same wavelength here, and I think that very soon we'll probably be having an announcement.
Can you give us details on what that might look like or when, Brian?
I think I can give you details on probably when, I would say, and then within the next 30 days, I think you'll hear something. As we continue to have a demand for our own IP, I think we had a great relationship with Microsoft. They licensed our look and our feel for their Gears of War game. It's a mobile game called Gears Pop. We have a couple other licensors coming to us to license our IP that we'll be making announcements on that very shortly as well. You're right. These are ways to increase your profitability and your margins, and we're on that.